Hello, this is Randy Smith with Vicinity. I wanted to take a few moments and go over the new project entry screen that Vicinity released in version 4.1. It's really a screen that allows R&D to manage projects that are coming from either marketing or a customer and keep track of the activity that they've done, and a tool to be able to compare formulas. What you're going to find about this screen, at least in the current iteration, is that it's a building block for a lot of things that we plan to be doing around this area as we move forward. Right now, we're focused on comparing components across formulas or formula versions. So let's take a look. So we've got our regular ribbon bar up here holding activities. Keep an eye on that. It'll help you change things like the basis for costs, or to print, or to save a project, etc. We have multiple drop-down sections here. I'll be going through these. As this screen progresses, you will be seeing more drop-down screens showing, and we've got a roadmap of some of the things we'd like to add, and I'll talk a little bit about that as we move forward. Let me go ahead and just show you in the project drop-down. We've got some project fields associated with it. I'll go ahead and pick up a project that I've been working on. We're working on a new chocolate for customer XYZ. It's a really good customer of ours, and we're wanting to keep them happy. So we can keep track of internal project notes as well as any notes that come directly from the customer. We're also able to keep track of the different iterations or versions as we go back and forth with the customer. We'll be able to keep that in front of us. We can also go and take a look at various formulas side by side. So in this case, I'm choosing to look at one version versus another. I could also just compare two completely different formulas itself. So at this moment, I'm just picking up these formulas. Let me go ahead and look at the trial components. So what we're doing in the trial component section is we are comparing these formulas, and we're comparing the raw materials associated with them. So I've got a version of a formula listed here. I've got another version of a formula listed here, and then I've also created a new option. So this new option was created by me by copying from one of these other versions and created a new version from it. So now I've got option 3 that I can look at, and I can actually come in and modify this version and in effect be making a new formula on the fly as I do this. Right now, I'm keeping my comparison rather simple. I'm just comparing quantities, and those quantities are based on this unit of measure that I've got established. So each of these items can be expressed in pounds. I can change that if I want to, and I can change the unit of measure, say, to kilos, if that's helping me. So now I can think in terms of kilos for all of these items. We have chosen to take all the items in a single unit of measure so that you're comparing apples to apples, and it's not as confusing for the user. I can also resize these formulas. Right now they're sized based on how they were originally entered as a master formula. I can also resize that, and let's say I'm just going to resize all of those formulas to 100, in this case kilos. So now I'm comparing apples to apples from a quantity perspective. I can also add other columns that we've defined that would be helpful. So in this case, I want to look at quantity plus the weight, the percent by weight. So I'm able to see those listed, and I can add all of these columns if I want to and be able to see that and make a rather large comparison. I can also take a formula and add an ingredient to it. So let's say that in this new option I wanted to add something to it for some reason. So I'm going to go ahead and grab milk. Remember, our new lookup in version 4 allows us to just do a partial lookup. I'm going to go ahead and pick up my whole milk, and it queues up that item number. So it went out and found that item number, and I can just hit the add button, and it has now added milk to my formula, and I can come in and I can put in a quantity of milk for that particular new formula. So as we move forward with this, what you'll be seeing is an extension beyond just components. So right now we're basically showing you the component breakdown, the ingredients, all the ingredients side by side. Where we're going to be going with this in both food and chemical is that lab calculation nutritional data or lab calculation type data, VOC, HAPS, pigment by weight, volume, etc. on the chemical side, and then on the food side, of course, all the nutritional values. So you'd be able to see the nutrition panel side by side for each of these formulas. We'll also be adding capabilities of seeing formula attributes and cost and and batch history and things like that. So anytime you want to compare options against each other, this is going to be the building block that we're starting with. Now, there's one additional piece that I meant to talk about that I haven't yet, and that's related to component hazards, attributes, and properties. We've got some clients that while they're formulating, they would like to see some data about the raw material. So I'm going to open this up, and we can show any hazard information, property information, or attribute information. Hazards are typically in the chemical side, but can also be in the food side of a flag that you want to put on an item. So in this case, some people are using hazards for allergens as an example. So what we can do is we can come in and we can mark a hazard, and it adds it to the column, and if it is that hazard, it'll have a check mark associated with it. I could also talk in terms of a property. Now, a property is a numeric value that is being used by the lab calculations. So in the chemical world, you've got things like HAPs and VOCs and pigments and resin percentages, etc. And in the food world, you've got nutritional type data. So in this case, I could drop in, say, the sodium content or the fat content of each of these ingredients as it's being read from the component. Of course, I can have multiple options, and it would show multiple columns listed here. I can also deal with any attribute that I've got in the system. So from a chemical perspective, that might be a hazard information. It's acute natures, it's hazard codes in the GHS world, and in the food side, it might be something like whether it's kosher dairy or parv as an example. And I can select one of these attributes, bring it in, and if it is kosher dairy, it would have a check mark by it. The whole idea behind it is it gives you an idea about this ingredient as you're adding it into the formula or comparing it across multiple formula versions. We can print any document, a project document associated with this. So this is a crystal report. It can be modified to look however you want. So basically, I'm showing you this project in this version and the data that's being displayed on the screen. So we hope you enjoy it. Feel free to reach out to us. Easy Plus is an easy way to go from your current version up to 4.1 to get this functionality. Also, Focus is an excellent opportunity to learn about Vicinity and go through tools like this and give feedback to us, as well as to learn about the feature functionality of the application. I hope that's helpful, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.